Welcome to 1 Minute Wins with Dr. Dana Martin, the podcast where intentional growth meets practical leadership. One quote, one lesson, one action to help you lead yourself and others better. Let's jump in.
Howdy and welcome back to 1 Minute Wins. I am Dr. Dana Martin. Today on 1 Minute Wins, we are with number 50, Empower the Team. There's a piece of leadership, and there's a truth there that separates average leaders from what I would deem exceptional ones, and that's control feels safe, but empowerment creates results. Yes, dramatic pauses there that aren't normally there. But think about that for a second. Control sure does feel safe, but empowerment creates results. Many leaders believe they empower their teams until the pressure shows up, and then decisions tighten, authority pulls inward, and that trust you had with your team slowly erodes. Bill Gates may have put it best for this. As we look ahead into the next century, leaders will be those who empower others. That's not aspirational. That's operational. So today we're talking about why empowered teams outperform controlled teams and how leaders make that shift intentionally. Empowered teams outperform controlled teams. That's just how it is. Control limits the speed. You have cruise control on your car. Empowerment multiplies it. You let me push the accelerator on my own, we'll just push it to the floor. Control creates dependency. Empowerment builds ownership. Leaders who try to hold every decision, eventually they become what's known as a monument or a bottleneck. Leaders who empower create momentum that doesn't depend on their constant need for interaction or their presence. Empowerment isn't abdication. It's intentional trust paired with clear expectations. And when done well, man, it can change everything. I once worked with a leader who felt very overwhelmed, very frustrated. Everything came back to them, whether it was a small decision, approvals, just a question. Then I use blue or black ink. They told me my team, they're just not stepping up. But when you start peeling back the layers of the onion, the issue really wasn't capability. It was permission. The team felt as if every decision required approval, every risk required sign off, and every mistake triggered a correction instead of a coaching. Once authority, not just tasks, once the authority was delegated, something started to shift. People's confidence grew. They began making decisions, correct decisions, quicker. And the leader finally got out of their way. Empowerment didn't reduce that control. It redistributed the responsibility. Gallup study on employee engagement found that teams with high levels of empowerment and autonomy are 21% more profitable and show significantly higher productivity than teams operating under tight control. Even more telling, employees who feel empowered are far more likely to take initiative and solve problems without escalation. It seems pretty simple that control slows organizations down. Empowerment scales leadership. Here's another way maybe to look at it. The best leaders don't create followers. They create more leaders. I cannot remember who said that, but man, I love it. Because empowerment isn't about doing less. It's about developing others and helping them to do more. When leaders hoard and hold on to that authority, growth around them stalls. And when leaders share it, the capability expands. I've had to learn this personally. Early on, I equated leadership with being needed. And I've alluded to this in the past that if decisions flowed through me, I felt valuable. What I learned, though, was simple and it was pretty humbling. Needing to be needed isn't leadership. We call that insecurity. And that insecurity is just dressed up in this instance as responsibility. When I shifted toward empowerment with clear expectations, real authority, coaching instead of correcting, my teams began to grow faster than than I could have ever done. That's when leadership became, for me, very sustainable. It was learning empowerment. Here's how we, as leaders, can empower more effectively. There are 4. Number 1, delegate authority, not just tasks. Ownership requires decision rights. Number 2, be clear on outcomes. Empowerment without clarity creates chaos. Number 3, allow learning through mistakes. Growth requires space to try. Number 4, stay available, not intrusive. Coach when needed. Don't hover and micromanage. So what are those 4? Number 1, delegate authority, not just tasks. Number 2, be clear on outcomes. Number 3, allow learning through mistakes. Number 4, stay available, not intrusive. Empowerment isn't hands-off leadership. It's hands-ready leadership. So, who needs permission to lead today? Not someday, not eventually, today. Where are you unintentionally holding someone back? The action for today is to delegate authority, not just the tasks, and do that today. Give someone the decision. Back them, get in their corner publicly, and coach them privately. That single shift will build trust even faster. Empowerment is how leaders multiply influence. So controlled teams wait, empowered teams move. If everything depends on you, leadership does not scale. And when people are trusted to lead, the whole culture strengthens. Strong leaders don't protect power. They work real hard to pass it on. You've been listening to 1 Minute Wins, number 50. 1 Minute Wins, number 50. For more information, resources, some other things, go check out dmilm.com. If you'd like to order the book, 1 Minute Wins, Volume 1, Take Control of Your Growth Journey 1 Minute at a Time, you can find that on Amazon.com. Once again, thank you for listening, and always remember, be the example.